I was recently commissioned to make an antique style gun case for a pair of Giffard CO2 pistols. These were made in France in the 1870s, so I'd be fitting this out in the French style. In this video I'm going to show you how I went about making it and some of the techniques I used, a few of which I'd never used before. I'm using an existing antique gun case. This is a very nice case with a mahogany veneer, but it's got a little bit of damage, so I'm just going to repair all the damage and get it in a really nice condition before we start doing the interior. The mahogany veneer is about 1 millimeter thick, but I think what's happened is over the years that baseboard has shrunk back and left the veneer protruding over the edges, and it keeps catching and snapping off in various places. So go round, glue them all up and then sand them back so they're flush with that baseboard so that they won't catch in future. It's also got some really nice brass sliders to lock the lid on. They're a bit stiff though, so I'm going to clean those up a bit and try and get them sliding a bit easier. Also, when I'm going to fit the baize panels later on, there's an exposed strip of wood, so I'm using these oil-based touch-up pens just to go in there and darken that strip up so that you won't see it once the panels are fitted later on. So I really want to keep this original padded lid insert. I think it's velvet possibly, but it's got a couple of quite big rips in it, and I just want to tidy them up a little bit really and get them to a point where they're not going to catch on anything else and get any worse. So just a bit of PVA and just flatten them off, close them off so they're not open anymore. And do the same to all the tears. I would have thought this case has got to be at least 100 years old, judging by the amount of wear on this padded lid insert. I really like it, and I'm going to use the patina on that as a guide for how to finish the insert, which we're going to be making next. Yeah, that looks a bit neater. So with the box done, we can move on to doing the insert. So first of all, I drew round the actual pistols and then stuck that to some cardboard and made some cardboard templates. The owner said I could have borrowed the pistols for the duration of the project, but I didn't want to have them for that long. They're quite valuable, and this should work fine as long as my cutouts are accurate. So I've got the 2 pistols, and there's also 2 CO2 cylinders that need to be fitted in the box. So I was just working out how they would fit. I used self-adhesive red baize. I've used this before and it's really convenient. This is wine red, the colour. And yeah, you just peel the backing off and stick it on. So first thing to do was stick the side panels in. These would just be held in place with very strong double-sided tape. And I needed to do this first so I could work out how big to make the foam inserts that are going to sit inside this. I cut 2 sheets of foam, but in the end I just used 1 because that would give me enough depth for what I wanted. Then it was a question of getting the position right and then going round them with a black marker pen. And then when I cut them out, I cut them to the outside of that black marker pen line, which gave me a little bit of wiggle room so they wouldn't be too tight. Then the tricky bit. Cut a long strip of that self-adhesive red baize that's exactly the thickness of the foam, and then go all the way around the cutout and stick that strip on. This was very tricky, but it worked okay. The important thing was that it had to be flush top and bottom, so I had to cut it out really, really accurately. The tool I'm using, by the way, is a nylon embossing tool. So it's made from very, very slippery nylon. It's perfect for this sort of thing. I use it for rub downs and stuff like that, vinyl transfers at work. Apparently back in the day they used to use a similar thing that was made out of bone, which had a similar sort of slippery non-stick quality to it. But yeah, this works really, really well for these fiddly little folds and helps to push it all in. And with that done, you can see that all the sides have now got a nice layer of red baize. And the reason it's important they're flush with the top is to do with the technique I worked out for joining the top to the sides. So if you look here, this is an exposed area of adhesive. And when we lay the top sheet on, the adhesive on the underside of that sticks to the adhesive on the edge of the side piece. So the plan is to stick the adhesive on the top and go around all the sides and cut them out with a scalpel. Then what should happen is there should be a bond between the side and the top. So that is the area of adhesive. And to ensure they're stuck together well, I've got some nice stiff tweezers, and I'll go around and just pinch that join together. The adhesive on these is really quite strong, and if you stick adhesive to adhesive, it's a very strong bond, and it doesn't even come apart when you pick at it and pull at it. It might rough up the actual felt, but the adhesive is stuck together. So that should be a really nice strong bond for quite some time. Now to scale that up. So I've stuck the top layer on. I had to put bottom on there because I kept getting mixed up which was top and bottom. And yeah, go around with my embossing tool, push those edges in so that they're nice and neat, and then go around it. This is probably the most difficult part, is to go around all those little corners and turns and scalpel them out. But I took my time. I went through about 5 scalpel blades to keep them nice and sharp, and I managed it. So we can see here on this little section how that's going to work. You can see the side there bonded with the top. Yeah, and several scalpel blades later, I got it all cut out. It was very pleasing, especially those little fiddly bits like the trigger guard and some of the other parts. But it worked, and I was quite happy with that. So now I'm going to go round and pinch that layer together with those tweezers, make sure that's bonded well, and clean up any little scraggly bits. But yeah, that worked well. That was a relief because I wasn't sure if it would. Normally when you see examples of cases fitted in the French style, they don't look very neat. They've either got separate side pieces or they're not very deep. So I was happy to have worked out this system for this. Before I stuck these pieces in, I wanted to colour match them to the lid, and because it looks far too new. Eventually I worked out quite a good recipe to get a colour match for the substrate colour of that lid. It was using modified acrylic paints, and it was a combination of yellow ochre, raw umber and titanium white, and mixed those in equal amounts and then added a thing called painter's medium. So obviously I was going to be painting onto fabric, and I didn't want it to rub off or wear off or create a dust that's going to get into the gun or anything like that. So I researched it, and it turns out if you mix it with this stuff called painter's medium, it allows it to be painted onto fabric. It's flexible, waterproof, and it doesn't come off. So a good application onto the wine red baize, let it dry for a couple of hours, and then you end up with something that is actually a pretty good match to the average colour of that lid. So I painted all of the components with this base colour, and then actually went in and fine-tuned it with some detail. So that's the original baize. This is with the base colour, and then my fine detailing to match it in with the lid looks like this. And what this is obviously darker bits, but mixing up a light colour that matches the lighter patches on the lid, trying to randomly put those on, and it was actually a very good match. I was very, very happy with that. Yeah, I think that looks so much nicer than brand new baize. And with that done, I could start sticking them in. So I used some very strong double-sided, and the plan was to set it up in such a way that in position I could peel off the backing of the various parts in progression as it went from one side to the other. So the bits of backing paper would protrude out through the top. So on each one I took off the original backing paper, took some spare from earlier, and then fitted a longer piece so that when it's the other way up, I'd be able to peel them off and expose the double-sided as and when I needed it. So I would start on the left, remove the back in as I moved across, and in this way I'd be able to stick it in a controlled manner and keep the size and proportions correct, so the guns would still fit in. And that's what I did. Started on the left and started to peel everything off, and it worked quite well. At some point I had to put the templates in just to make sure that those voids for the pistols were correct and one wasn't bigger than the other, because it was very important to me that the pistols could go in and out quite happily. They weren't too tight, and obviously I didn't have the actual pistols to hand, so I had to go by my cutouts. But I was very happy with the result. I thought the colour matching looked superb. I do like that sort of thing, and the cutouts are really neat, which I also like, able to get some nice curves, good details in there, and yeah, very happy with that. Something else I wanted to do for this case was a Giffard related brass insert in the lid. So the Giffard trademark is a balloon, very similar to the Montgolfier's brothers balloon, but the Giffard one has a sun face in the centre. You can see it on their paperwork and also on the butt plate of their Giffard rifles. So I wanted to do something like this. I found an old lithograph image of a Montgolfier brothers balloon, and I got AI to turn it into a line drawing, then to reduce the detail, and then move the sun face into the centre, and then remove the linear aspects, make the sun bigger, and that was what I was going to use as the basis for my brass lid insert. So I worked out a size that I thought would be about right for the lid, printed it out, and then simply double-sided it to a piece of 1mm brass sheet. And then I got a pin punch and I went round all the sort of dots and a lot of the details, and then just tapped them with a pin punch, and that gave it a little bit of depth so that it wasn't just completely flat. And then the plan was to go round all these little lines with a Dremel and try and engrave it. I used the finest Dremel bit I had, which is the second one up from the bottom, and then literally went round all those lines and bit by bit tried to engrave through the line of the paper into the brass. And I thought, look, if I can just follow these lines all the way round, get them, you know, at least cutting into the brass, then it should give it an engraved effect. And that's what I did. I could tell pretty early on if it was going to work, because if I could stay to the lines, then it should look pretty good afterwards. The trickiest bit really that I had to get right was the face, because there weren't many details in the mouth, the nose and the eyes, so they had to be relatively accurate. But the rest, you know, if it's going to look handmade and antique, it didn't have to be perfect. So that's quite enjoyable really. Now I could have imported this line drawing and turned it into a CAD drawing and then got someone to CNC this out for me, but to be honest I would have thought that looked a bit too precise and too perfect, so I quite like doing it by hand and give it a nice effect. So yeah, once I peeled all the backing off and had a look at what I've got, it was quite good. Most importantly, the face kind of looked about right, so I was very happy with that. But obviously this looks far too new and shiny, so the next step is to put some aluminium black on it. The plan with this really was twofold. One is to eventually have a bit of tarnish on it, but really to get some black down into those engraved lines so that when you rub it back, the lines show up. It's very hard to get it down into those dimples actually. So I used very fine sandpaper just for the initial rub down to take off all the burrs and stuff from the engraved lines. But it soon became apparent that all the indents from the pin punch were a bit too deep, so they were really dark, whereas the engraved lines were slightly lighter. So to balance that out, what I actually did was turn it over and then tap the back of it very gently with a hammer on all the pin punch dimples to try and flatten them out a bit. And the consequence was that there was a slight curve to the whole thing, which is pretty nice actually. So the dimples were much shallower, so they weren't too dark, and the whole thing had a nice sort of beaten quality to it. It looked really good. So the next stage, which was quite scary, was to cut it into the lid. So yeah, that's going to be fun. So I double-sided it in position, and then with a fresh blade just went around it with a scalpel over and over again. The veneer is not very thick, like I said, it was about 1mm and quite soft, given it's 100 years old. So yeah, I just had to be precise, not slip, and eventually I had a perfect cutout. I could use that as a guide to do the final cuts through to get all the way through the veneer, and then I could just chisel that out. I used the pieces that I chiseled out to fix some of the breaks and corners on the box, and then just sanded the edges down, and then where there was exposed fresh veneer on the edge, I just used bry wax and just went round that to darken it up so it didn't stand out too much. And yeah, the exciting bit really is to take all the tape off and then drop the plate in and see what it looks like, because it should be a perfect fit because I scalpeled around it. Beautiful. Very happy with that. I'm very happy with the whole finish on that lid insert. That was a very fun part of the project. So now we're going to deliver it to the owner and see if the pistols fit. And what do you know, they do. That was a big relief. They're great. They go in and out very easily, and the shaping fits them perfectly. They've got sort of like a nice even gap all the way around. And as soon as the pistols are in, it's like the box just disappears into the background, which is what you want it to do. The box is meant to be the background for these beautiful Giffard pistols. So very, very happy. That was a great project. And most important of all, the new owner is very happy with them. I really enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you on the next one. Bye.